My boy Inoji is about to get a serious power up after the information he was given. Like, this shit is crazy. He got told what happened in the future and he can't accept it. Yo, we about to get right into it, man.
This world shall know pain.
What's up, y'all? We back at it and we got Boruto TBV Vortex Chapter 27. Early translations. Yes, we do. So I'm gonna just go ahead and just do a chapter review as opposed to doing spoilers. Now, I will tell you guys, make sure you take the time out to read the official chapter when it drops to show your love and support. I'm gonna do it both. You know, I read spoilers and I read the officials. There may be some translation errors where some things are said quite differently in the official than it is in the spoilers. So make sure you take the time out to check it. You know, check out the officials, man. Greatly appreciate it. But hey, make sure you subscribe, hit the bell for all notifications. You already know the Boruto chapters be a little long, but hopefully you guys can rock with it. Hopefully you understand and you're not too upset with the long video, man. But I rambled on long enough. We got to talk about this chapter. Now, some people might say this is a boring chapter, but for me, I loved all the information we got. I loved every single thing we got about this chapter. And Inoji, I mean, I wonder how people gonna feel about him after they read this chapter, man. I wonder how everyone's gonna feel about him. I feel like people are gonna change. They're gonna be like, yo, you know what? He ain't that bad. I kind of rock with him. I feel like a lot of people are gonna say that, but man, your boy Jura, he on a whole nother. I've never seen a villain in all of Boruto that just had as much privilege as this guy have. This dude could go in and out of any town, you know what I'm saying, any city, and people just don't mess with him. No, they're like, hey, look, man, just treat him as an innocent bystander. And I guarantee you, I know how this is going to happen. I think it's going to be one of those situations with Jura where he's going to be drinking his tea, eating his crumpets, whatever he likes to eat with his food, you know, with his drink. And he's going to be sitting down doing that. And a little kid is going to walk up to him. A kid that doesn't know who he is or anything like that. Because, you know, kids are kind of fearless for the most part. Unless you just look like a straight up monster. And I believe this kid is going to start interacting with Jura. And it's going to lead to one of those situations where Jura is going to engage with him because he wants to learn everything there is to learn about humans, especially about love. And then eventually he's going to start to care for this kid. It's going to be a situation where the kid may be endangered or something like that. And then he's going to save him, and he's going to pretty much like the guy, what was his name, Mariam? I might be saying his name wrong, from Hunter x Hunter, and how not necessarily falling in love, but it might be the situation where he starts to care for this kid and he realizes what power is really for to protect the weak. It might be one of those type of scenarios. And I wouldn't be upset about that. I could feel like something like that may happen. And then you might have a situation where the other Shinjus, they may get offended by this and might be like, yo, why is he changing? Why is he acting like this for the sake of this little kid? And they may actually finish off this kid, or not necessarily them finish off the kid, but something might happen where the kid is taken out and it causes him to want revenge against everyone. I imagine something like that might go down with his character. Now, I could be completely wrong, but you guys let me know your thoughts on that, man. But yo, let's get into this chapter, man. Some crazy stuff, especially with Hima. The stuff with Hima, I'm not going to spoil it now. We're going to get to it as the video go on. But the stuff with Hima, oh man, hey, you just don't know. But let's get into it, man. So we got this amazing color page, man. I will say, this young is kind of fire. Despite how you feel about the character, this color cover page may be one of the best ones. I'm not saying number one, but it might could go with top 3, top 5. You know what I'm saying? Dead or alive. That's just off one LP. Hey, look, my bad. I went into music mode. But you already know, man. You got Inoji on the cover with the backpack on, the hoodie. You know what I'm saying? About to pull out his blade from the side. The blade connected to the backpack. He about to pull it out, and he got that stance like he ready for war. Hey, look, this dude like, yo, Jura got me once. It won't happen again. I'm an OG, bitch. Like, that's the stance he got. I'm not saying he gonna beat him. I'm just saying that's the stance he got. Like, he got that stance, like, bring that shit, man. Like, it is what it is. I don't know, man. I know I didn't rock with it in, what was it, Boruto Next Generation? But I kind of rock with the boy Fit, man. Now, I don't know if this is the original color scheme. I can't remember. Maybe they changed it up for this color page. But this shit kind of cold. And then if you take the time to look in the background, you got a close-up of his face. in the background that's like kind of shadowed out. This might be one of the best color pages, man. I like the way they handled this. Now, let me know how y'all feel about this color page. Where does it rank for you? Is it like top 5? Is it at the bottom? Watch, it's gonna be that one person like, he's just too trash for me to give him a high ranking, man. Look, the fit is cool. He's at bottom though. I guarantee it's gonna be that one person, man. It's okay, man. You know, you like what you like. But anyway, we got that, and then we have it where, you know what I'm saying, the chapter starts off where you got your boy, oh man. You got Daemon. He's pretty much got you know, Sarada as well as the class rep by their necks. Pause. Someone's gonna make that a little wild, man. You know what I mean. Don't be like that. Don't be that guy. Don't be that guy. But you got it where he got both of them by their necks, and it looks like he's about to finish them off. Now, the way the class rep face look in this panel, the way her eye is kind of like to the corner, I wonder what she was about to do. I feel like the class rep had something that she was about to do. I'm not saying she would have beat Daemon, you know what I'm saying? But the look she had wasn't a look of, oh no, I'm scared. It was more so like, this motherfucker touched me? He touched me? Oh, hell no. That's the look she had. But next thing you know, you have it where Daemon, he says release, and he let both of them go. It's crazy he had to say release to let them go. Like when I saw the word release, I imagine that's probably going to be something different in the official chapter. That's why I say make sure you read the official. So when he said a release, I'm thinking someone else said it. But then I see the bubble pointing at him, and I'm like, you got to say release to release? Man, get that shit out of here. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, man. But you got it where he looks at both of them and he sits down. And I'm not going to lie. He hasn't proven himself yet. At least not enough for me to be like he's that dude. But this line right here is so cold. You have this man sit down and he looks at him like, you understand, right? You understand, right? You know what I'm saying? You understand, right? I could dispose of you guys at a whim. Like it's nothing for me, man. Me taking you guys out, it's like me taking out the trash, man. And I only do that shit when I feel like it. Like he's like, before you even notice, you'll be dead. You'll be dead before you even notice. And just the way he's looking at him, grinning, sitting down. Like this man sat down. He didn't keep a stance. This man sat down and said that shit, man. That right there would have been enough for me to be like, I think it's time we go. You want something to eat? You want me to fix you a plate before I go? Let me know, Daemon. I got you. Let me know. I get you a plate if that's what you want. You know, that's probably what I would have did in that situation. I'm gonna keep it 100. Motherfucker said some shit like that. And I'm thinking over all life decisions I made up until this point. Like it's somewhere where I went wrong and I need to figure it out. But anyway, you got it where you know, Sarada, she looks at him and says like, you're not gonna kill me. And then you have Ada. She goes to say, no matter how you think of it, it's strange. Why are the two of y'all, you know what I'm saying, immune to my ability despite not being a Susuke? Like you have it where she says that, like, yo, you guys are unaffected by omnipotence. And then she says, is it because you had your heart stolen by Boruto and he's a Susuke? And then she says, nah, that isn't all of it. She says, there are plenty of girls in the village who have had their hearts, you know, fluttered over those two. That's crazy. I never even thought about that. Damn, she talking like, yo, all the women want your boy Boruto. All of the women want Boruto and Kawaki. That's what she's saying. Then she says, if the reason you can dodge my ability is because of that, then it's strange that there aren't any other girls that are the same. And there might be. She probably may have not met them yet or crossed their paths. It could possibly be. So I wouldn't rule this out completely. She says, even still, you know, the two of you remain unaffected. There's only one reason I could think of. And she says, and I must have made an exception myself for the two of you without being aware of it, you know. Of course, that desire was entirely subconsciously, you know, to make it a reality. So this seems to have happened when Kawaki triggered her ability, and then she was thinking that as well. So I wonder if other people was within that area with their wish had been granted, because it seems like everyone within that area, as far as we know, Kawaki and you know, Ada, their wish was granted. So if another person was there, could it be a chance that someone else's wish got granted, and we may find out further in the future, like someone was there hiding, observing, like, yo, I was wishing to be the strongest. Now I'm the strongest. I just laid back for a while. I'm very curious about that. Hey, let me know what y'all think about that. That's just a little theory. Someone could be out there lurking. But anyway, you have it where back then, Sarada, you were the one who said it. And then you get a bit of a flashback. And you like, it's all of them laying on the bed with the pillows. This is in part 1 of Boruto. And you got Sarada saying like, yo, let's do it. Let's just become normal friends. And then you have it where it jumps back to regular time, present time. And Ada says, that made me so happy. After all, it was something I've always wished for, even before I met the two of you in person. So she's always been longing for friends. And we know that anyway, because she hates her ability. She considers her ability to be a curse because she doesn't know what a person truly thinks of her. And I can see why she would think that. But anyway, you have it where she continues to say, hearts has also been stolen by, Asusuke, referring to Boruto. She says, I don't really get it. Either way, my deepest wish was a proper human relationship, and it seems as if that's what she's gotten. And that's the main reason she's seeking Kawaki, is because he's immune to her ability. So if he does end up liking her, it's going to be because he chooses to, not because her ability is forcing him to. So then you got it where Ada goes to say, after all this time, I don't think either of you have any intention to harm me. If you two were the ones to do me in, it might not be so bad. Meaning that she's willing to die by the hands of her friends if necessary. I don't know, I feel like it's going to be a sad end for her. Just hearing that line alone just really make me think it's going to be a sad end for her character. I don't know. Let me know what y'all think about that. But anyway, you got it where the class rep as well as Sarada are looking, and then Sarada jumps up. She grabs the hand of the class rep. You got it with Daemon's watching like, don't make me interfere. Don't make me get involved. Don't make me that guy. That's the look he had on his face. I'm gonna keep it 100. He just had that look. He had that, don't make me that guy. Then you got it where they both rush Ada and they give her a hug. And if you look closely, really it seems as if Sarada is the one hugging both of them, and Ada just got dragged along. I mean, not Ada, but the class rep got dragged along. Now, I mean, maybe it's just her being caught off guard, and then eventually she does go in for the hug. But you have this panel where Ada is looking at both of them. They show a close up on the class rep face, and her face kind of looks emotionless. Like, it looks like she has no emotion right now. Like she could just snap just like that. And we all know about her past, at least from the anime, how she got down before she actually became became who we know now. Now, you got it with Daemon is observing her very closely too. So in this panel, they show those three characters. They don't take the time out to show Sarada. So that's why I feel like this may be a little bit of foreshadowing of what's to come in the future. The fact that they show Ada's looking at both of them, and you got the class rep with no expression on her face, and then Daemon observing her. I feel like that was just, I don't know, a little bit of foreshadowing. I could be wrong, and it could be completely nothing. It could just be me overreacting, and they just chose to show these three characters and not include Sarada. But I feel like there's a reason why she wasn't in this panel, because these are you got to where Ada may be worried about the class rep. She knows Sarada is sincere, but at the same time, she knows she needs to watch the class rep. And then you got the class rep thinking like, yo, this isn't the time to make my move. And then you got Daemon saying like, make that fucking move. I'm telling you, that's just the vibe I'm getting. But anyway, you got it where Sarada is hugging her deeply, and you have it where she says, I haven't heard anything about us risking our lives just to be friends with each other. And you got it where Ada says her name, and she says like, yo, what brought this unexpected hug? This unexpected bold hug. Actually, I don't know if that was Ada saying that or the class rep. I want to say it was Ada though. It makes more sense for her to be the one to say it. It's one of those panels where it's kind of hard to see, figure out who the bubble is pointing at, because they're both like side by side. But anyway, you got it where, Sarada goes to say, it's my own way of showing my resolve and a symbol of my friendship. And you got it where then the class rep does begin to hug Ada. But at the same time, I don't know, I feel like this is a hug she felt like she had to do it because she may see her as a friend, but at the same time, she seems like the type that won't hesitate to do what she think is necessary for other people she care for more, such as Boruto. But anyway, you got it where the class rep goes in for the hug as well. And she says, don't hate it. Risking your life for friendship is the best kind of thrill. And that right there, that statement alone seems like something like, yo, she may try to risk her life in order to save Boruto by trying to take out Ada. It just seems like that might be the case because she knows what happened to Boruto. She knows that Kawaki and Boruto were switched, and she might be thinking to herself, taking out Ada may be the best way to save Boruto, to get this spell undone. Now, we don't know if this is something that will stay in effect even after Ada dies. We don't know. It's a gamble. But she might be thinking to herself, like, trying to take her out, it might be worth it. Because of this line right here, risking your life for friendship is the best kind of thrill. Now, I could be wrong, but you got it where Ada closes her eye. And the fact that Ada made that statement earlier, that she wouldn't, if she was to die by one of these two, it would be okay. And then with this panel right here, it really just feel like foreshadowing. Now, I could be wrong. But anyway, you got it where Ada says, thank you both for you. And then she goes to hug. Of course, Daemon's still watching, wishing the nigga would. And then you got it where Ada says like, yo, please be good to me once again, my precious friends. So she does consider them to be her true friends. And she probably would do anything it takes to make sure that they're okay. You know what I'm saying? I could imagine she might even send Daemon to help them out in battle in the future. Like, yo, they facing off against such and such. Hey, Daemon, don't worry about me. Help them out. Now, I can imagine that happening. Now, I could be wrong, but I could see that happening as well. But you got it where it shows Sarada eyes. And Sarada eyes look more so like, I guess, I don't know, sad. And then you have it where, they showed the Clash Rep eyes, and her eyes look more so like she doesn't want to do something, but she feels like she has to do it. And that could be taking the life of Ada. I don't know, man. But then you got Daemon watching from afar, still wishing the nigga would. You know what I'm saying? But then it jumps to Koji as well as Boruto. It's also, damn, I forgot his name that quick. Inoji. You got all of them. They're having a conversation. Inoji is still with him. And you have it where Koji is saying Mamushi's ability is to split apart, which is crazy, man. That's a pretty dope power. He says it's one of his powers, meaning he has some other powers as well. We did see him use, was it him that used the tree jutsu when they first encountered Boruto? It might have been Matsuri, but I think it was him. But anyway, you got it where he says split apart. Yeah, there's almost no limit to his numbers. No limit to his numbers, man. He can split apart into several persons. That's crazy. Then you got it where Boruto is sitting there again. I know a lot of people saying that's Boruto and not Momoshiki, but just the way he's sitting, like his demeanor, it really doesn't feel like Boruto. This might just be the way he is now after everything he's encountered up until this point. So you got it where Boruto says, is it like Shadow Clone? And then Koji goes to say, no, it's completely different. The biggest difference is all the parts are the real body. Moreover, his chakra isn't split. There's no decline in his power or his physical strength. And if you don't know, when Naruto used to make clones, his chakra and strength would be split amongst the clones. The more clones he made, the weaker the clones were. And that's why, if you've seen some of the battles, you'd be thinking to yourself like, damn, they wiping these clones out, because the numbers were so large. His chakra was spread so thinly. So the fact that this guy can do it and not lose his strength or chakra is insane. And also, Shikamaru is a part of this conversation. So you have it where Shikamaru jumps in and he says, so you're saying he just multiplies while he's at full strength? You gotta be kidding me. He's realizing the problem that this guy is. And then you got it where Koji says he does have a weakness. The more he increases his numbers, the more his intelligence falls, and sharply at that. So this guy gets dumb the more clones he makes. So that's kind of like his ability kind of like a double-edged sword, but I wonder how many clones he got to make for him to be like just dumb enough to do, like dumb enough where he wouldn't be a threat, so to speak. Koji goes to say, in addition, his pain threshold reduces and his movements become simplified. That is the opening we should try to take advantage of. And where Shikamaru replies, so in other words, your solution is to let him multiply until he starts to act like a fool, and then we do away with all of his parts at once. And then Koji says, exactly. There's just one more important point to note. Make sure to crush both of his eyes. A body that has lost both eyes will become unable to split. Okay, so that's a Rinnegan ability that he's using. I wonder if that may have been an ability that Bug had, because he's a Shinju made from Bug being devoured. So I wonder if Bug had that power. I don't know, did they ever say what Bug ability was? I'm very curious, did they? But anyway, you got it where they say his eyes. He's like, yeah, but be cautious. By reducing his numbers, his intelligence will recover. That's crazy. So yeah, you got to try to wipe these guys all out in one time. I mean, you got to hear what Shikamaru says. I see. So if we leave a few parts left over, we'll struggle to fight. But if we let him make too many, then we won't be able to control the situation. So you got it where Koji says aim for about 20 to 30. He'll become easier to handle. it'll be like fighting an animal. Like, wow, that's crazy. That's how dumb he'll get. Then you got it where Koji goes to say, round them all up and take care of them with one blow. And of course, Shikamaru says, this is just a theory, but what if he leaves one of his parts behind at his hideout? Even if we get rid of all the parts in the village, doesn't that mean we'll fail to exterminate him? And then of course Koji replies by saying, there's no need to worry about that. His separated parts have a priority that causes them to swarm. So even if he plans ahead, it should flock towards where majority of the others are gathered. Okay, that makes sense. And the fact that it's dumb. And then you got it what Shikamaru says, it makes sense, even more so since he became an idiot. And then you got it where Inoji jumps in. He says, that being said, why is there a need to fight in the lead? If we know where he's going to appear, shouldn't we at least try to intercept him? And then, of course, Koji goes to say, the main reason for choosing the leaf as a battleground is to prevent Jura's intervention. And then, of course, you got it with Boruto, like, just got the ... He says, Jura's goal is Boruto and Hima. If they leave the leaf, Jura will leave the leaf. But if the battlefield is in the leaf, he won't appear. Okay, of course Inoji asks why, and then you got it where Shikamaru says, for some reason it seems as though he's taken a liking to the leaf. He makes frequent visits to the bookstore and sweet shops. He's been sighted there sometimes, meaning he's been going there off and on, and he's not bothering anybody. So I mean, I guess let him do what he want to do. But they showed a panel from the sneak peek where he's just sitting there, eating food while drinking coffee or whatever he's drinking and reading a book. And of course you got what Shikamaru says, the sensory unit reports him just in case, but all you can do is leave him be. I even ordered the police force to stand down as well. Now this dude ain't even hiding his chakra. Usually when people go to the Leaf Village and they're not supposed to be there, they try to hide their chakra so they can infiltrate. This dude just walked straight in there. Hey yo, give me that drink right there. That's what I like. You know what I'm saying? He's probably a regular at the store to the point where the owner's like, oh, Jura, my guy, what's good with you, man? Hey, look, I got the fresh baked cookies. Like, you never know. But of course, you got it where it jumps back to Koji. He says, Jura has deemed fighting in the leaf to be unacceptable. Mamushi understands that well. It's best not to incur the wrath of one's superior. He'll be careful not to use unwanted destruction to the village. Oh, damn. So it seems like this nigga's scared. He's scared of Jura. And then you got it where Boruto says, even if he becomes an idiot. And then you got it where Koji replies back by saying, it's an instinct. No matter how low his intelligence drops, his fear of Jura will never disappear. Damn! At the same time, neither will his goal for devouring Ada. Yo, this dude said, no matter how dumb he gets, his fear of Jura will never disappear. That's cold. That's cold. And then Koji says that's why the ideal option is challenging Mamushi in a solo fight within the league. And then of course you got it where everyone is agreeing with it. And then you got Koji looking at Inoji saying like, yo, I'm going to have you master a new jutsu. And then Inoji looks like, what? And then he goes to say this jutsu will be pivotal to the battle with Mamushi. Damn, I wonder what this is. He said it's a brand new jutsu that's backward compatible with the mind transfer jutsu. That's why I invited you here. And of course, you got it where Inoji says a new jutsu. And then he says, Mamushi will arrive in the village about 1 week from now. There's a chance he will come even sooner. Either way, there's not much time. At the very latest, I need you to perfect this jutsu in just 2 days. And of course, you got Inoji saying, hold up, wait, 2 days? Even though I don't know anything about it? I mean, that's crazy. That kind of made me think of back in the day, regular Naruto, when he had to, add, nature energy, or he had to add nature. He had to add his chakra element to his Rasengan. That's what it kind of reminds me of. I think Naruto had either a day or 2 days to do it with, Kakashi. But anyway, you got it where Koji says, you should be able to do it. After all, this is a jutsu you thought of yourself in order to enact revenge for Hima. Oh my gosh. And then you got it where the screen freeze and your boy Inoji looks at him like, yo, wait, what did you just, like, yo, the way Inoji looked right there, like, yo, what did you just say? Hey, yo, this shit was cold as hell. Like, I'm kind of becoming a fan of the boy. I'm becoming a fan of the boy. But of course, that means in one of the futures that he's seen, Jura killed Hima. And in that process, Inoji vowed to get revenge. And he said, and he said, I will make this guy pay. The fact that we see, I hope we get to see more of that. I hope like when Inoji's in battle or whatever the case may happen, when he's facing off against Mamushi, I hope like he has flashbacks of what Koji told him. Like they ain't got to tell us down, but he has flashbacks of what Koji told him about what happened to Hima, and it caused him to go all out in battle. I hope we get that. Or oh my gosh, man, I want to know how it went down. But of course, you got what Koji says. He says, I see your eyes have changed, because remember he was saying like, yo, how can I get this in just 2 days? But once he found out Hima died, he's like, oh, fuck that, I gotta lock in. But of course, Koji says, of course, it's a future we must avoid, but the theory and skills you obtained were of great value. Meaning whatever ability he learned to take down Jura must be crazy. Like if it's strong enough to take down, or he made it in hopes of taking down Jura, it should be more than effective for someone who's not as strong as Jura. At least that's what I'm gathering from here. But of course you have it where Koji says, I shall now explain them to you. And then your boy Inoji, hey look man, he growing on me, he says, I don't need a whole 2 days. I'll master it in 1. My boy locked in. My boy locked in. Then next thing you know, it jumps to Amado, and he's watching a battle that took place between Kawaki and Jura. He's watching that, and then you have it where Kawaki is asking him, did you find anything? And of course, Amado says, it's a bit hard to make out from my info, but something is definitely inside. I think there's no mistaking that it's the divine tree itself. So he devoured the divine tree. Oh my God, or he's making a divine tree within himself. Well, we knew he took the 10 tails, and the 10 tails becomes the divine tree. So something along those lines. And then you have it where Amado says, not only does it heal their injuries, it also functions as a powerful weapon and a unpenetrable shield. And then Kawaki says, so what, you're saying he doesn't have any weak points? Then Amado replies by saying, it's not just about weak points. You might as well assume he's immortal. He's already, and the next thing you know, it jumps to Kawaki. He didn't get to finish his line. It jumps to Kawaki, and he says, he's beatable. I definitely felt that when I fought him. I wonder if that's a translation error. We'll just have to wait and see for the official. I might do a second video if that's the case, if there's some big differences. It's just not with the firepower I got now. I need to be stronger. And then Amado says, Kawaki, I'm telling you this for your own good. Getting any stronger than this. And then before he could finish, you have it where Kawaki grabs him by the neck. Yo, Kawaki stayed disrespecting this dude. Yo, he must really love his daughter, because ain't no way, man. I'll put like some type of bug, a chip in him, virus, something. But anyway, you got what Kawaki says. Should I crush your throat? Shut your face and do what I say without useless talking back. Hey, yo. He says, if you really want to earn my help for the sake of your daughter, that is. And then they show Amado's daughter, who looks just like Delta. It's crazy, because for a quick second, I thought it was Delta. I was like, oh yeah, he does have a daughter. Then next thing you know, Kawaki throws him to the ground. Amado's coughing. Where Amado says, I already told you, if you gain more power, your body won't hold. Before you're even able to fight him, you'll ruin yourself. Then Kawaki says, don't make me repeat myself. I'm not granting your wish until I wilted the enemy down to their roots. That's a cold ass line. Kawaki killing it right now. He says, you want to see your daughter, don't you? Then quit whining and accept your fate. I can either kill him first or die first. You've got no choice but to place your bets. Damn. Hey, yo, Kawaki, I want to see him train as opposed to getting power-ups. And I wonder if he trained, would that still harm his body like the power-ups would? But anyway, you got it where it jumps to Konohamaru, and he's being interrogated, by the higher-ups. Oh my gosh, someone please wipe these guys out. But you got it where Konohamaru says, yo, I already told you, I was on the side who interrogated Boruto in accordance with my orders. Unfortunately, and then you have it where the guy says, unfortunately for you, that doesn't serve as proof. For that itself is precisely what a mole would say. I mean, he got a point there. He says, that is why we are conducting this investigation. That is the reason why you are here. That is interrogator as well as Konohamaru, and it looks like Sai is in the room as well. And then Konohamaru says, at the very least, at the time of the interrogation, I resented Boruto, but to be honest right now, I feel like there's some sort of inconsistency with the public, with his public image as a traitor. And then you got it where Sai's looking at him. I wonder what Sai's thinking right here. Then the interrogator says, I got telling Konohamaru that he's being manipulated. And he says, moreover, it's astounding that you can state such opinions in a situation like this. Have you no understanding of the position you're in? And then of course you got where Konohamaru was just being honest. Kind of funny because he kind of saying like, yo, Konohamaru is unintelligent. He's an unintelligent man. He doesn't have the nature to be a mole. So he's pretty much innocent by being himself because the guy doesn't see him as being smart enough to be a mole. And then you got it where this interrogator says the person who aided in Boruto's escape must be someone else. And then next thing you know, you have it where Konohamaru is being contacted by Shikamaru. And you got it where Shikamaru is telling him like, yo, no, don't let them know that I'm talking to you. But he says like, yo, I don't have much time, so I'll get straight to the point. Listen and listen carefully. I'm the one who let Boruto escape. And then you got it where Sai is observing Konohamaru. Now, I wonder if Sai knows that Konohamaru is talking to someone. Now, I know some of y'all like, yo, how would he know? But his son and his wife has that jutsu. That's their ability. That's what they master. That's their bloodline. Now, there's a chance that he's seen his family do it enough where he can tell the signs of when they're in the middle of a conversation with someone far away. So I feel like Sai knows, but I could be wrong. You guys can let me know. But of course, you got Shikamaru saying, I told Mitsuki the passcode and had him undo Boruto's cuff. I'm working with him right now, even as we speak. Then Konohamaru was asking him, like, why on earth would you? And then he says, you already know, especially as you are right now. Meaning that he's seen the stuff that Boruto done. He knows something wrong with Boruto being considered to be a traitor. And then you have it where Konohamaru is thinking about what happened in the battle against Matsuri, where Boruto showed up and said, take this and get away from here. Wait for further orders. Didn't you hear me? Didn't you hear me? Get out of here. He's thinking about that battle with Matsuri. And then you have it where it jumps back to Konohamaru saying like, yo, it might be only a matter of time before he figures out what I did. Konohamaru, I'm sorry, but this is a one-sided earnest request. Lend me. No. He said, then he stopped himself, says, no, would you lend us your strength? And then of course, Shikamaru says, of course, the final decision is up to you, but if you can trust me, please work together with us. And then you have it where Sai is still staring at Konohamaru. And that's why I feel like Sai knows what's going on. But then it jumps to the clash rep. But we're going to go back to this Konohamaru situation. I feel like this is going to be the first major dub that Konohamaru is about to take. I think he's going to make himself be out to be the traitor. He's going to say, I'm the one who did this. You know what I'm saying? Arrest me, lock me up. I guarantee you that's what's going to go down. I could be wrong, but that's what I think is going to go down. You guys can let me know how y'all feel about that, but I think that's what Konohamaru is about to do. But you got it. Well, I think that's what Shikamaru was going to ask Konohamaru to do. You got it where it jumps back to the Clash Rep and Sarada, and you got it where you know, the Clash Rep saying, I got to get going. I got to get back to the labs. And then Sarada says, oh, well then I should probably also. Next thing you know, you have it where the Clash Rep jumps on Sarada, gives her a hug and says, no, you can't escape me, Sarada. And then she says, Samir, help. And then Samir says like, yo, see you, Sarada, have fun. And then you got her as she walk out the door to leave, Boruto is standing there waiting for it. This was just the way he's standing there, that shit's just so cool. But you got it where she looks at him and says, Boruto. And then it looks as if Mitsuki is looking from afar. He might even be in the same building. I could be wrong. But you got it where Boruto pulls out his katana. He's holding it. He got lightning swirling around it. And I'm thinking like, yo, this dude about to take her out. He about to wipe her out. But then you have it where he says, this is a you know, a Chiha sword style cloak sword. You cloak the blade and chakra constantly in order to prevent the edge from getting dull or nicked. I only let my guard down for a second, and this is the result. It cracked. Then you have it where he says, sorry, Prez, but can you have this fixed by the end of the week? Of course, she looks like, you want me to fix it? And then he hands her a scroll. He says, take a look at this. She looks at the scroll. And then she says, this technique is, and it's ... Oh man, I want to see what happens. I really want to see what happens. And then you got Boruto saying, yeah, been nothing else like it up to this point. Then he says like, yo, once you finish what you're researching now, you'll end up making this. So he pretty much gave her something she was going to create earlier than when she actually created it to speed it up, you know, thanks to Amado. But you got what he says, I can't give you any more details, but will you fix it? Then you got it what she says, I fix it using this skill, So she doesn't finish. She says, I think it'll end up being reborn as something entirely different. Is that still okay? And he looks at the sword and says, this is a strong blade. But the person who translated it goes to say that they can't really see the text too well, so that's what they're assuming. It says this is a strong blade. Then it goes to say, I don't think my master would have any complaints, you know. And then she says, all right, got it, but there's just one more thing, one small problem. Boruto asks, what is it? She says, I don't like being called Prez. Can you call me Samir now? And then you have it where Boruto looks at her like, huh? You know, and she runs off smiling, saying, I'll make this cooler for you. Look forward to it. Then next thing you know, a few days go by. It jumps to the elite village, the top of the walls, and you have it where someone saying, I wonder where you're hiding at, big sis Ada. And then you got it where it's actually, you know what I'm saying, Mamushi or Mamushi, the Shinju or Bug saying like, yo, make sure you guys don't forget to hide your chakra signals and don't let anyone detect you. But all in all, this chapter was crazy, man. Sorry the video got long, but hopefully you guys rock with it. Let me know your thoughts down below. Yo, I catch you guys in the next one. This shit gonna be crazy.